Hey everybody, welcome back. This is Jordan from Strops and Stones. I'd like to thank you for coming back and watching another video of mine. Now, this is my second video ever, so it may be a little rough. Please bear with me. I'm just trying to get some good content out there to you guys and educate you to the best of my ability. The fancy videos will kind of come as the channel grows. So, real quick before we get into the review, I would like to go ahead and just share an announcement. My website, www.stropsandstones.com, is live. It's under construction and still has a lot to be done. But if you have any feedback or advice, please reach out to me on Instagram at stropsandstones. I would love to hear what you guys have to say. And, I'd like to have a website that's great for the community to add. I would like to either add a forum on the website or open a Discord channel for others to help each other. I do work a lot in my real job, and I don't really have time to be super attentive to somebody who's maybe new, and maybe as a community we could help newcomers get better at the craft of sharpening. That's what we're all here for, right? So now that that's out of the way, let's go ahead and just kind of get into the product itself. So we're here reviewing today the DMT Diasharp 6-inch kit. So I've only seen this on sharpeningsupplies.com. I have not seen it anywhere else. There's similar kits kind of, but nothing quite like this, especially for the price. So this kit is $90, and what it is it comes with 2 plates that are double-sided. These plates are 6 inches by 2 inches, and basically you get the extra coarse, which is 220 grit. Then you get the coarse, which is 320 grit, okay? And then you get the fine, which is 600 grit, and the extra fine, which is 1200 grit. So that's gonna be your fine right here, and that's gonna be your extra fine. You can hear basically how quiet that is. So on the top side, there's not really much more to show than that. I mean, this wood case does actually double as a stone holder, so you can actually sharpen just off the wood base, which is, pretty cool. You can sharpen just about anything. If you can sharpen a spider cut with this terrible heel, you can sharpen just about anything with that wood base, which is pretty nice. So the only downside to this case, though, I mean, it seems like they designed it to be portable and small and universal, but this lid kind of falls off very easily. Like if you had this in a backpack, it would surely fall out all over the place. So if you decide to take this anywhere with you, maybe grab a rubber band and keep it closed. Otherwise, you might ruin your plates. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and just do a quick sharpening of this K390 Paramilitary 2 from Spyderco. It's a good knife to test. It's a nice, strong tool steel that's very wear resistant, and we'll see what the DMT plates do for this. Now, as you saw, these DMT plates have been used. They are broken in, so we'll get a good idea of what it's capable of. After that, I did do a Civivi Elementum. I did take pictures of the bevel the best I could with each grit, so you can kind of see the progression and the scratch pattern that it leaves. And we'll go ahead and kind of cover all those photos, give you my thoughts on each grit themselves, and then I'll run through some pros and cons, and then I'll close it out with my final thoughts. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into sharpening.
Alright guys, so we have the K390 PM2. Gonna do some sharpening. Now forgive me, my technique is not the best here. I was pretty nervous being my first time sharpening on camera, and I also had a tripod right behind my right elbow, so I was kind of terrified that I was gonna bump it and ruin the whole shot. So going forward, when I do another video that will show off tips, tricks, and techniques, I will move the tripod somewhere that's going to be more comfortable for me to sharpen and not have to worry about knocking over the camera and having to start all over. But the good news is that this video is not about tips and tricks. This is about just the product itself. So let's go ahead and get into that. We'll go ahead and start with the DMT Extra Coarse. The DMT Extra Coarse is 220 grit. However, in my opinion, it feels a lot coarser. It feels like a 100 grit. It's very akin to sharpening on a brick, as me and my friends would say. So it should be used sparingly, with that said. It's really only meant for knives that need a lot of material removed. If you are looking to repair a knife that has a large chip in it somewhere, or if the apex is basically flat, then yeah, this is going to be a great place to start. It's going to really just chew through any steel very, very quickly. So with that said, this is going to be your least used stone in this entire kit by a mile. Unless you're somebody who is constantly abusing their knives, and obviously, yeah, you're probably going to use a little bit more. But for the average Joe, this will be your least used. So let's go ahead and move on to the DMT course. The DMT course is a 320 grit. In my opinion, it's very, very true to grit. It's gonna remove material fairly quickly and still leave a nice toothy finish on it. In my opinion, depending on the type of edge you want, this could be a one and done stone. You have the ability to bring back just about any edge on this because the way diamond plates are made is essentially it's a piece of metal that has just diamond abrasive just resting right on top of that piece of metal. So if you have, something that's 320 grit, just pure abrasive sitting on top of a piece of metal, it's gonna definitely do its job and do it effectively. So the good news is though is like when this stone breaks in, it actually leaves a very nice toothy finish. It's hard to explain unless you actually see it. It's still somewhat smooth, but it's still very aggressive at the same time. It's not something you see every day, but it's something I really do enjoy about the 320 grit. Usually on the K390, this is kind of where I stop and start. It's a great finish once broken in for sure. So now that that's out of the way, you see me putting on the 600 grit right here. The 600 grit is another great stone that can be one and done. In my opinion, that's also very true to grit, and most knives can be brought back on this grit right here. Same thing, diamond abrasive resting on top of a metal surface, so it's going to remove material fairly quickly. The main benefit of the fine over the coarse is the fact that you get a very refined, very nice scratch pattern, in my opinion. You can see from the photo, it's just, in my opinion, it's a thing of beauty. It's probably my favorite stone in the DMT lineup, hands down. Now, it's not going to repair many chips, so if you have chips, you might want to go to the coarse and then move to the fine. But if you just have a couple flat spots on your edge and you just need to bring it back, the 600 is going to be a great place to start and finish if you want, or you can go ahead and move on to the extra fine. So with that said, let's kind of just wrap it up with the 1200 grit, which is the extra fine. It is also pretty true to grit, in my opinion, even though some people may not feel that way because of the finish that it leaves. It doesn't leave like a polished finish at all. Not straight off the stone, at least. It's very dull, but you do get a decent scratch pattern out of it. Now, I'll say this is probably my least favorite stone in this lineup, but I think it's probably more user error. It just seems like I can never get the scratch pattern the way that I would want it out of this grit. I don't know if it's the feel of the very fine abrasive that I just can't get a feel to keep my angle consistent every time, or what it is, but it's just not for me, really, to be honest. I will skip this stone almost every time. Main reason I used it in this video was just so you guys could see what it's all about. And I'll be honest, I'm probably not the best example. So if you're interested in using this 1200 grit, or if you're interested in learning more about it, maybe do some more research from more experienced sharpeners than myself to see what you think.
Alright guys, so now that we showed you what these stones are capable of, let's go ahead and talk about pros and cons. The first pro on my list is going to be the fact that it's versatile. You can take a really dull edge, bring it back to life, and get a great working finish all in this nice little 6-inch kit. My second pro is going to be the fact that it is only $89. Getting 4 grits on diamond plates for $89 is a no-brainer. Then my third pro is going to be the fact that it's user-friendly. All you have to do is really clean these once in a while. There's no flattening or lapping needed, making it a great user-friendly experience. My fourth pro is going to be the fact that these DMT plates are long-lasting. As long as you treat them right and don't let metal rub on metal, or just set them on a concrete floor, they're going to last you for a very long time. And my final pro is going to be the fact that it's great for beginners for all the reasons I listed above. All these just add up to being a great user experience for somebody who's getting into the hobby. So, with the pros out of the way, let's go ahead and cover the cons. There's not very many, but the first con I'd have to say is the fact that you're gonna have your best experience sharpening knives that are 5 to 6 inches in length at maximum. You can do larger knives, but it's just not ideal. You need more real estate to cover a knife that big. It's not a deal breaker, and like I said, you can do larger knives. It's just you have to practice, practice, practice to make that happen. My next con is going to be a very petty con, nitpicking if you will, but it's the case that it comes in. That case does not secure very well, so you could even just kind of haphazardly set it on the counter, and the top diamond plate and top half of that case are probably going to fall out, and wherever you set it, on a shelf, on the floor, or whatever. So I wish that was designed a little bit better. Is it a deal breaker? Not even close, but it is a con nonetheless. Okay, so my final con is going to be the DMT customer service. I can't say for sure that this is a con. Okay, there is a big, huge asterisk beside this. But I did have a very interesting experience with DMT customer service recently. And if you want to see or hear more about it, I do blog posts that are much more detailed than these videos. So you can go to my website, stropsandstones.com, and check out the blog post regarding this DMT kit, and it'll be at the very bottom of the page. Alright guys, so now that we got the pros and cons out of the way, let's go ahead and cover my closing statement. My closing statement is this. If you are a beginner looking to get into freehand knife sharpening, this is a great starting point. You can practice on these and they're pretty much bulletproof. You're not going to do much to damage these stones, okay? They're pretty maintenance free, so it's very user friendly overall. It lays a great foundation for you as well to expand. If you want to expand and get some ceramic stones, some water stones, some resin bonded diamond stones, or whatever have you, you have a great starting point to kind of build to your liking, okay? If you're an experienced sharpener who's just looking to add something to their collection, this is also a great kit. Because if you're an experienced sharpener, you probably know what you're looking to sharpen and what you're getting out of this kit. Being that the stones are 6 inches by 2 inches, you know what you can and can't work with. So if you feel like this is something that you can work with in terms of size, you're going to do great with this purchase, okay? So is this the best deal in freehand knife sharpening? That's a very hard question to answer. There are other stones out there that are going to give you, in my opinion, more bang for your buck. Granted, they are more expensive. So at $90, getting essentially 4 stones is a really good deal, especially because they're diamond stones. They're going to do a lot for you in terms of performance and longevity. So that's tough, but I'm going to say no. I'm going to say there are better options out there. With all that said, that's all I have for you guys today. I really hope you guys enjoyed the content. I know video production is not the best, but it will get better. If you liked it, please like, comment, and subscribe. Check me out on Instagram at Straps and Stones. Have a great night, guys.